right, what's up, guys? Welcome back. This is actually going to be the video where I go a little bit more in depth on Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva. I made a quick video for you guys last night right after the show ended, and it was a great card. It really was. I enjoyed the card. Got a little tipsy, last night. Had some shots. It was a good night. Some good fights. Uriah Hall beat up Le'Veon Bell. That was a very interesting fight. Interesting to see what that was gonna look like. Most people thought Hall was gonna beat the crap out of him, and he did. But Le'Veon didn't quit. He took the shots. He ate a lot of hard shots in there. So, Le'Veon Bell, tough guy for sure. He can eat some shots. And then went to like Dr. Mike. Dr. Mike, yeah, man, Dr. Mike has got a. I don't know if he should be fighting professional fighters. Like, he got the crap beat out of him. But he never went down. He never went down, but he ate some shots. Like, they were talking about maybe even stopping that fight you know, after like 2 rounds. Because, I mean, what were we watching? We were just watching one guy get the shit beat out of him because he was fighting professional fighters. Dr. Mike, you need to take your ass not in there. You need to take your ass to the celebrity leagues, okay? You need to fight other celebrities. You're not a fighter, Dr. Mike. I know that you want to be, and you donated, a lot of your purse. And by the way, I don't really understand why people, I mean, maybe he doesn't need the money, so, I mean, good job. It's a good cause, so I'm not going to beat him up about it. But personally speaking, I would never teach my children to do that. Don't fucking donate your money. You just got the shit beat out of you for free. I mean, that doesn't sound very fun to me, for whatever cause it is, you're doing yourself physical harm, So I'm sure the hospital bills, in the camp, like everything that it probably cost him to do this. I just don't understand that, But I mean, maybe he's got some sponsors that are really paying him in the back end. So it's like, a wink, wink kind of deal. I wouldn't put that past them because that's the kind of shit that goes on in boxing. It's like, hey, look at this hand, but, here behind me, it's where the real action's going on, Because, these guys, they're all getting paid some way, So it looks good that it's like, oh, I'm donating my entire purse to the Boys and Girls Club, blah, blah, blah. But where's your money? Where you really getting your money? Because unless he just spent all that money on the camp, paid his coaches, paid for everything and took an ass whooping for free. But hey, shout out to Dr. Mike for getting in there. That takes courage, and he ate all the shots. And he never went down. That's probably why they didn't stop the fight, because it was sort of like a moral victory for him that he made it. So good job making it to the end of the fight, Dr. Mike. Please don't fight no more professional fighters. Ashton H2O Silva. I really, really didn't like that fight. I said it a little bit last night earlier, but let me reiterate. I really, really did not like that fight. Because that's like, the typical boxing, guy eats one punch and goes down, He's in there for a paycheck. Let's be honest. He was in there to get a paycheck. And, he got paid. So, good job. He ate one punch and went down. I could have did that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, what is the kid gonna learn if he's getting all of these fast knockouts? And then this is the problem, folks, because once he takes a step up and the guy doesn't go down with the first hit, what's he gonna look like? And then it's actually punching back. That guy went for broke. He came in swinging wild. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. Like, he was just swinging for the fences and, ate a hook and went down. He wasn't there to win. He was there to get that money. So I hope next time out, Most Valuable Promotions, Jake Paul's promotions, you guys do something a little bit different and put him in there with somebody that's going to hit him back so he can learn something and maybe win a world title. Because you're not going to learn shit. You're not going to win shit knocking guys out, this quickly, unless you're like, Deontay Wilder. You know what I'm saying? But he's not. He's not Deontay Wilder. Um, and he hits hard, maybe, but I don't know how hard he hits because he landed a hook on the guy's chin and the guy went down, and did the stanky leg. You know what I'm saying? That was the fakest stanky leg I ever seen in my life. He got up, he's fine, and he did he was trying to get out of there, man. He was trying to get that money, and he got it. So Jake Paul, put him in there with somebody good next time, please. Somebody that's going to hit him back and somebody that's going to not go down with the first shot. Y'all wasn't paying that man enough. That's probably what it was. And then in the main event, of course, that boy Jake Paul, looked solid. Knocked Anderson Silva down in the last round. There was a lot of talk online about maybe it being fixed or rigged or whatever the fuck. That's crazy talk to me. You folks need to grow up, and get in there yourself. Because you seen Anderson Silva's face at the end of that fight. He was beat up. He took a lot of shots, and he put some shots on Jake Paul. He won rounds. On my scorecard going into that last round, it was actually tied. I was in line with like Brian Campbell on the Showtime broadcast. He had him tied going into the last round. That seemed about right to me. Or maybe you could have had Jake Paul up around. But either way, it was close. Maybe Jake Paul was up 2 rounds. Who knows? But either way, it was close. It was close. And, Anderson Silva got knocked down, and I think that sealed it for him. Jake Paul made some improvements, and, he wants Nate Diaz. I seen him talking all the shit about Nate Diaz, like, oh, you're not a gangster, and you're not tough. Like, no, Jake Paul, you're not tough. Nate Diaz is tough, and he'll fight you and your entire team in the back, and you'll find out how tough he is if you want. So it'll be fine. You guys can bang it out in the hallway. Nate Diaz doesn't give a fuck. And, if you think you can, tell him he's not tough and that's going to help you, like, it's not. He's going to fight you before, he's going to fight you during, and they might even fight you in the parking lot after the fight. So, I don't think Nate's winning the fight, but I promise you they're going to win the brawl. They're going to win the brawl without a doubt. Because, Team Diaz rolling, 60, 80 thick. So, when they fight Jake Paul, you better have your entourage ready because he coming. And they're going to be throwing, water bottles and all that kind of shit. They're going to be, and they're going to be, 30, 60 thick in there with MMA fighters and killers. Okay? This dude, Nate Diaz's bodyguards are just MMA fighters. If you've seen a video of him walking through like the MGM Grand and Nick Maximov is like, pushing people back. He's working as Nate's security essentially. These are MMA fighters who are Nate's security. So whoever Jake Paul got as security would get fucked up by the whole Diaz army. Okay, because it's an army. Okay, when Nate fights, Nick is showing up. And Nick bringing a whole army, okay? All right? So Jake Paul can keep talking about how not tough Nate is. I don't really get that. I don't really understand that. Why say that about a guy like Nate Diaz? It's like so obvious that he's one of the toughest people on this planet. If anything, he's tough, right? And he's saying he's not a gangster and all this stuff. Like, dude, they will fight you. Like they already tried to break in the locker room and fight him. So, I think he slapped his dad. Nate Diaz slapped Jake Paul's dad. Like, Jake Paul's kind of scared because he knows Team Diaz is going to fire him up on sight. And, that's straight up. So keep talking, but keep that same energy when you see him. Because I promise you they will. And they about to do it. All right? So now we're going to go on to the UFC card. Because I'm going to do, obviously, this is the MMA corner, not the boxing corner, but it's a combat sports show. So we're gonna start on the card. So let me pull up the card here, you guys. I watched everything yesterday, as I always do. And we're gonna start at the bottom of the card because actually it was a very good card. There was a lot of finishes on the UFC card, a lot of finishes. Steve Garcia knocking out Chase Hooper. Okay, my prediction before the fight, I did say that I thought Chase Hooper was gonna win this fight, maybe by submission. I think that was my pick, but Chase didn't look good at all, man. Like I thought he was getting his man body. I was gassing him up, and he got the crap kicked out of him. He looked very amateurish standing up, which is usual for Chase. He's never looked great standing up, let's be honest, but we saw some improvements. He definitely didn't look very improved, in that fight. And maybe Steve Garcia is just, better than we think, so yeah, but John Young Park, the Iron Turtle, he looked solid, got a submission. Joseph Holm kind of sucks, if I'm gonna be honest with you. Marcos Rogerio de Lima, Arn Arlovsky, he's been in a lot of wars, so I'm not going to beat him up, but, he went down and he didn't even get hit, and they got choked out. He didn't want to fight him, let's be honest, which, it's a bad matchup for him. That guy was coming to knock him the fuck out. You better believe it. Oh, Roman Dolidze, Phil Hawes, what I tell y'all, I told y'all it was going to be a war, and it was, to a certain extent, for as long as it lasted. Now, Phil Hawes got caught in a leg lock. For some reason, he took him down. I mean, he is a wrestler. Phil Hawes is a wrestler. But he took down Roman Dolidze. And Roman got a leg lock on him because, he wasn't respecting the leg locks and was getting elbowed from the bottom. That shit was brutal. It's like with this part of the elbow, just smashing it into your forehead from the bottom. It was very impressive. And he grabbed the inside of the heel, flipped him, and turned it into like inverted knee bar, and it was disgusting. He blew Phil Hawes' knee out, and he actually let go, which is all respect in the world to Roman Dolidze, because he could have did way more damage to his knee. I mean, he already blew it out, and he knew it. That's why he let it go, because that can be bad, man. You want to be able to walk, again after this. Phil Hawes has got a long recovery ahead of him, because when he got up, his leg was. And Dan Miragliotta should please just put him out of his misery. He's starting to get as bad as God, who's that guy? As bad as, well, probably not as bad as him, but like Yamasaki, levels of bad. I was gonna go Mazzagatti, but I'm not gonna go Mazzagatti. He's not Mazzagatti, but come on, Big Dan, you got to stop that fucking fight. Like, he cannot defend himself. He tried to get up, tried to stand. He's falling all over the place, and it was bad. It was really bad. Big Dan should have stopped that fight. Big Dan is the reason why Phil Hawes got knocked out, okay? And Phil Hawes got put to sleep, and he shouldn't have. The fight should have been stopped because he couldn't defend himself, and it was very obvious. So shout out to Roman Dolidze. The dude is a monster. Like, he's going to be a problem. Them Georgia boys, they're coming. They are coming. Like, all of Marab, all of these guys is coming out of Georgia. They're coming. So you better be fucking ready. You better have your hands up, because they're coming to knock you out. Okay, Roman Dolidze is no joke. He's going to get a big fight next. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to beat this guy. All right. Dustin Jacoby, Khalil Roundtree Jr. Okay. I can't wait to talk about this fight. Here's why. Because a lot of people don't know how MMA is scored. Now, even though they might have had the class, I'm talking about some of the analysts on the show, Anthony Smith and, Alan Joban. They were doing the pre-show, and it's almost like they had no idea how it was scored. It was like, oh, well, we don't even know. Like, they're putting a cloud over it. Okay, I'm gonna tell you how it was scored. Okay, it was scored on damage, because that's the #1 scoring criteria. I don't understand why it's so hard for these knuckleheads to understand. It's not hard to understand. Like, it's so frustrating for me. When I was sitting there watching that Josh Emmett and Calvin Kattar fight, I knew how they were scoring it, because that's how I was scoring it, because I understand that it's scored on damage. So if every time I hit you, you go flying, guess what? I'm doing more damage than you. Okay, Dustin Jacoby in this fight was racking up the numbers, but he wasn't sitting down on anything. He was just jabbing and moving and jabbing and moving and kicked. Khalil Roundtree was swinging for the bleachers. He was trying to take Dustin Jacoby out. Okay? So where the volume of Dustin Jacoby was nice, and when you look at the numbers, you're like, wow, how could he possibly have won? Go back and watch the damn fight. Okay? Even the commentators said it. Okay? So you can just ignore what you're watching and just be like, well, I just feel like the numbers should matter more. You know, but no, it shouldn't matter more. You shouldn't be able to run away from me and fucking just stick me and run. Like, that's what he was doing. He was just trying to volume himself to a win. The volume overwhelmed him, and that's fine. But eventually you got to sit down on something. Eventually you got to try and hurt him, because it wasn't deterring Khalil Roundtree. He walked him down, and he tried to take him out. And in those last 2 rounds, he landed some big shots. He had Dustin Jacoby flying all over that octagon with the shots that he was landing. Okay, it was a very, very competitive fight. Anybody that tells you that a robbery is lying. It's not a robbery. Khalil Roundtree fought his ass off, and he was throwing big shots, trying to take him out the whole time. Okay, I got nothing but love for that. Okay, because that style should be rewarded. Okay, the Sean O'Malley's, these people, the Josh Emmett's, the guys who are trying to knock you the fuck out. It should be rewarded, not the guys who are trying to volume their way to a win. Okay, Dustin Jacoby didn't sit down on one punch that entire fight. He didn't sit down on one punch that entire fight. Okay, he jabbed and moved and ran the entire fight, and Khalil still landed big shots. Okay, so yeah, no, I had Khalil Roundtree actually winning that fight. I was okay with that. I was perfectly fine with that. Trayshawn Gore, Josh Frem, that guillotine was nasty. Now, for all you crotch sniffers out there, okay, take a look at this video, okay? Because Josh Frem, the dummy, okay, I hope Josh Frem hears this, because Josh Frem is stupid. Josh Frem, you're an idiot. I hope when you go back and watch the fight, you realize how dumb you are, because you were landing shots. Okay, and you did exactly what all the crotch sniffers do when they're landing shots. You put your head right in his crotch, trying to sniff it up, and guess what? You got choked the fuck out. Okay, I'm sorry to put it like that, but it's just real. You got to have fight IQ. You can't be a dummy. Okay, and it looks dumb when you're landing shots and you shoot for a takedown that you didn't even get, and you didn't get the one before that either. So why are you shooting when you're landing shots? It's a fight, dummy. Like, I don't understand. Like, I hope his coaches, watch the film with him and tell them this and be honest with him, because it was so dumb. He was winning that fight on the feet. He really was. He was landing shots. He had him backing up. And what did he do? He put his face in his crotch and got choked out violently. And I enjoyed every second of it. I loved it. Oh my God, I loved it so much. I'm like, thank you, God. I hope all these crotch sniffers out here, these guys that do that crap, when they're landing shots and you shoot for a takedown, it was a bad shot. It was a bad takedown, and he paid for it. So I got nothing but proof of what I'm saying here, because he got choked the fuck out. But go back and watch. He was landing shots. He was doing well. Josh Frem looked great until he didn't. Until he reverted back to, I guess it's just instinct. It's just but I'm not gonna give you no excuse for no instinct, because you have control over that. You're throwing shots, and why go for the takedown if you're landing? I don't understand it. I will never understand why guys do that crap. But hopefully they're met with this kind of stuff every time they do it. All right, let's move on up. A couple boring fights, in my opinion. Up to the main event was Arnold Allen looked good. Arnold Allen's hands looked very fast. I thought he might have been able to get Calvin Kattar out of there. Honestly, he landed some combinations in the first round where I was like, whoa, up against the fence, especially. Like, his hands are so fast. Like, he's got the fastest hands in MMA. And I don't say that lightly. I'll say it again. Arnold Allen has the fastest hands in MMA. And it's not particularly close. Okay? His hands are like lightning. I mean, they are so fast. And it's a shame Calvin Kattar blew his ACL out. you know, but it's the fight game, you know. He threw a dumbass flying knee. You know, it was like a lead flying knee too. You know, it was off balance. It was just it was bad. It was bad, and he paid for it. He blew his leg out and, you know, lost the fight. So shout out to Arnold Allen. I can't wait to see what's next for him. And that's it for this video, guys. Thank you for tuning in. It's about a 20-minute video. I gotta get my laptop and all that stuff. And once I get that, I'm gonna be going live, and we're gonna be doing a lot more more videos on a lot more different things. So subscribe, do all that good stuff. Like the video for me, please. I need some subscribers, I need some likes. So thank you, and I will see you next time.